On this week's episode of Blow the Whistle, we discuss the 2016 NBA year in review. We talk about Isaiah Thomas and the Boston Celtics, what's wrong with the Knicks and the Pacers, and then we make some predictions for the 2017 NBA All-Star Game rosters. I'm William Robbins.
I'm Julian McKee.
We're going to jump right into it. Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics.
Woo.
Other night, Isaiah Thomas dropped 52 points. They beat the Heat. They had some trouble with Cleveland the night before, but what do you think's going on here in Boston?
Well, I think Isaiah Thomas has not only just proven himself to be the second best point guard in the league right now, and the closest thing
that's
to
a bold take.
Not best, but best statistically and like visually.
Are we counting James Harden as a point guard here?
No.
Okay.
James Harden's not a point guard. He's just because of D'Antoni and Patrick Beverley being out for a while. He's back now and doing weird things over. D'Antoni's irrelevant. But I don't like him at all. But
Knicks fan.
I'm sensible. That's why. Okay, so but Thomas dropping 52. I think he's established now that people keep saying, okay, the Celtics need to get another star. You know, to just hand him the ball in the last few minutes and say, okay, win us the game. And I think Thomas has established the fact that he is that guy.
Well, 29 fourth quarter points is the second most of all time. Do you know what the most? Wilt Chamberlain scored 31 in the game where he scored 100 points.
Wow.
So I'm not even going to count that here because they didn't need those 31 points. That was Wilt stat chasing.
Yeah.
This was the highest scoring fourth quarter game ever. Highest scoring Celtics any quarter ever. Fourth highest all-time Celtics game. The only people who rank above him are Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. He's in some good company.
Yep.
Now, I swear to God, you go on Celtics Twitter and you look at what people are saying after this game, and you think that Isaiah Thomas is the luckiest man on earth. People are still saying that he should be a sixth man.
Oh my God.
They're still saying that he's not even a star. I can't stand these people on Twitter. Isaiah Thomas is a star. He's a borderline superstar.
He's a borderline superstar.
At this point, I think I'm ready to put him over Kyrie this year.
That's hard.
If you were going to rank every player in the league this year, I'd rather have Isaiah Thomas than Kyrie Irving.
It's just because of Kyrie's stats are just a little lower because of who he has on his team.
I think, yeah, but here's the thing.
Kyrie is a better supporting cast than Thomas.
I don't care, because here's the thing. When LeBron is out of the lineup, the Cavaliers cannot win.
That's quite true.
They are 0-4 this year without LeBron. There was something like 3-18 since LeBron came back without LeBron. Kyrie Irving still has Kevin Love on his team. Kyrie Irving should be able to win games. He can't. Do you know who can win games? Isaiah Thomas.
The thing is, though,
Isaiah Thomas wants to win. Not that Kyrie Irving doesn't. Kyrie Irving is as clutch as they come. But Isaiah Thomas, doesn't matter who you put on his team, it feels like right now. I mean, he overcame... Al Horford has had a really good season. Al Horford has been a little bit off in the last few days, it feels like. He had a great game against the Heat, but against the Cavs, that game was all Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas dropped 31 points, didn't play a lot of the fourth because he played 29 minutes through the first three quarters. I mean, he's just on a whole other level, it feels like, in terms of single-handedly carrying a team. And there's not many point guards who can do that.
And weirdly enough, you have to think of it though, when the Celtics really dug into that Cavs lead a few days ago, when the Celtics almost beat the Cavs. Yeah. And I think the Celtics kind of they got robbed of the opportunity to beat the Cavs.
That was a weird
an absurd
game.
Foul.
That was a weird game.
An absurd foul called on Al Horford. That was blasphemous.
It was a weird game because who leads the Celtics back? Marcus Smart, Jonas Jerebko, and Tyler Zeller. And Jaylen Brown.
And Avery Bradley. Forget about Avery Bradley.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Three. Stole the inbounds
I'm talking about the bench, though, here. Yeah. I mean, it felt like the Celtics were the much better team in the fourth quarter. But for the first three quarters, they were destroyed. And that's what I don't understand, because people are like, oh, the Celtics need a star to give the ball in the fourth quarter. The Celtics are, efficiency-wise, like the second best fourth quarter team in the league. They're only behind the Thunder. if you look at who scores the most points per fourth quarter this year, Isaiah Thomas drops 11.2 points per game in the fourth quarter. Russell Westbrook is second with like 9.2. Isaiah Thomas is the best fourth quarter scorer in the league this year. It's not even a question. For the Celtics to take the next step, they need to upgrade one simple thing. Their backcourt, Avery Bradley and Isaiah Thomas, I think is the most underrated backcourt in the league. They're a top 5.
And Stevens is finally figuring out that rotating essentially Bradley and Smart instead of playing 3 guards is what's going to work. And just be a little more conventional. Play
on top of that,
at the 3.
What he started doing is whenever Marcus Smart is on the floor, Marcus Smart is the point guard. People are going to look at Isaiah Thomas's game and be like, oh, 52 points, he didn't have a single assist. Isaiah Thomas was a 5'9 shooting guard that game. Marcus Smart had 6 assists. Marcus Smart was their point guard that game. The Celtics didn't need Isaiah Thomas to distribute. Isaiah Thomas needed to score that game. Back-to-back, coming off 3 games in 4 nights. They just came against from Cleveland. They got into Boston at like 2 in the morning from Cleveland. They were tired. Isaiah Thomas single-handedly carried that team to that win last night against Miami. And, was most importantly, that's what they needed him to do. Isaiah Thomas does what they need him to do. Isaiah Thomas and the Celtics are a complete match made in basketball heaven for the state of the NBA right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics needed someone who could make them exciting, and Isaiah Thomas needed a team who believed in him.
Yep.
That was not Sacramento, and it certainly wasn't Phoenix.
It's hilarious just to think that Isaiah Thomas was the very last pick of the draft.
Do you know who was drafted before him from the Kings?
I forget.
Jimmer Fredette. Sacramento Kings took Jimmer Fredette expecting him to be their starting point guard, and then Isaiah Thomas ended up starting for them. Isaiah Thomas has spent his entire life overcoming doubters.
God damn it, Jimmer.
I just read an article about him today. Did you know that his high school basketball coach told him he might as well quit because he has no future as a 5'9 guard? Do you know what he did that year? Dropped 50 points in the state championship game and averaged 40 a game.
Jesus. Thomas is just a hell of a player. It's quite simple.
He really is.
He's, I would say, I feel a little bit wrong saying this because of how great Kyrie has been, but he's the second most exciting point guard to watch in the league.
After
Russell.
What about Curry? I hate Curry, but Curry's fun.
Curry this year is just, he's a step down.
That's all he needs to be.
Durant is just.
There's going to be
uncomfortable seeing Curry this year. I haven't liked seeing him as much.
There's going to be a massive power struggle amongst that team when it comes to the championships and the playoffs.
Yep.
When it's you asked me this the other day.
Who takes the last shot?
Who takes the last shot? And to me, it's Curry. That being said, I think Durant is the best player on that team, but Durant's not passing the ball at the end. You looked at the game against the Celtics. I mean, not against the Cavaliers. Yes, Richard Jefferson tripped him, but Durant was not looking to pass that ball there, even on his way down. He still shot it from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He was not looking to pass that ball. Curry didn't even touch it.
He was just on the other side of the court, just standing still.
And I wonder if Curry's going to be okay with that, especially with, hint, hint, maybe a Steph Curry free agency coming up.
I mean, here's the thing with Steph. Steph, this is what... You said okay to this.
Yeah.
You said okay with Durant coming. This is what was going to happen. Because it's not your team anymore, Steph. It's not your team. It's Durant's team.
Durant showed in OKC that he is in no way, shape, or form okay with being the second fiddle in anything. Because I personally think, this is a hot take, but I think Russell Westbrook is better than Steph Curry.
I think Russell Westbrook's better than Steph Curry and Kevin Durant.
I agree. I do actually agree with that. This season, I think Durant, if they were going to play a one-on-one, I think Durant would win, but...
Against Russell Westbrook? That's a preposterous idea.
Durant, I think, is the best one-on-one scorer in the league.
But you can't... There's like a 10-inch height difference.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Hey, you know what? If everything was fair, Isaiah Thomas would be probably pound for pound the best player in the league right now.
What, one-on-one?
If everyone was the same exact height in the league, Isaiah Thomas would be up there.
Jamal Crawford will also be up there.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I can't argue that. For the Celtics to take the next step, I think that they need to either, if we trade for DeMarcus Cousins, great. But I'm kind of at the point now where I'm feeling like this isn't going to happen. We need to upgrade our starting power forward or center, depending on where you're going to play Al Horford. I think Al Horford this year has been phenomenal as a power forward. I would leave him at power forward, and I would look at center. I would start to look at players like Andrew Bogut.
I love Bogut on the Celtics.
Their starting lineup right now, I think, is fine. it's not that big of a deal. But their bench needs some work. If they could get a player like a younger version of Jamal Crawford, maybe a Will Barton or something like that.
I loved Will Barton.
Then their bench is good. Then they're fine. And then suddenly you've got a lineup of Marcus Smart, Will Barton, Jaylen Brown, Jonas Jerebko,
Gerald Green.
I mean, yeah, it's got Gerald Green over there, but
Gerald Green has played well.
Yeah, but Gerald Green's not a long-term solution.
He's a fun player to watch. I think the Celtics really shouldn't hang on to him because he's gonna provide
He's
energy
fun.
and great
He's
games
fun.
with his dunking and he can throw
Plus,
a 3-point sometimes.
I'm so happy that the Celtics have a player with the last name Green again. Seriously,
Yeah.
it's been a long time since Jeff Green.
Yeah, I think you're probably happy. It's been a long time since. Jeff
I
Green.
am happy about that too. Now here's another name that the Celtics could trade for: Nikola Vucevic.
Or
Magic are looking to get rid of him. You put him on the Celtics, put him off the bench as their bench center. Suddenly, maybe a lineup of Marcus Smart, Will Barton, Jaylen Brown, Jonas Jerebko, and Nikola Vucevic.
maybe someone else to
That's
think
a
about.
fire bench lineup.
Do remember that the Nuggets need to get rid of one of their bigs,
That is true.
and the Sixers need to get rid of one of their bigs as well.
That is true. But in terms of pure scoring, I would take Vucevic. Plus with the Celtics bench, they got their defense on lock.
Nurkic would be an interesting addition
Yeah, he would.
with the
they're
rebounding
they're
and
not,
toughness.
They're not trading Jokic. That's
he's.
Jokic.
Yep.
Jokic, in my mind, is already a top 10 passer in this league, and he's a center.
I didn't believe in Jokic. He's proved me wrong. You know, he's a hell of a
been
player.
fantastic.
Fareed, I don't know if he really fits in on that team anymore.
Fareed would be a guy I wouldn't mind in Boston.
I love him.
Basically,
as far as like an energy player, the crowd, Boston would love.
If I could talk directly to Danny Ainge right now, I would say, Danny, I know everyone wants you to make a blockbuster trade, and obviously, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Hell, I live in New York. I live 15 minutes from the Barclays Center. I would love to be able to root for the Nets again if we could trade their picks. You know how much it sucks having to go to a Nets game and be like, low-key, yeah, go Nets, but like...
Stop
but,
bitching
but
about
like,
this.
Low-key,
Stop bitching. You're not a Nets fan, okay?
I would like to be.
You would
would
like,
like
to be
to
a
be.
Nets fan. Come on. Oh yeah, because
If the Celtics
I
didn't have
put you
their
on to Sean
draft picks.
Kilpatrick, the god himself.
I love Sean Kilpatrick.
Sean Kilpatrick's amazing.
He's fun.
He's the only fun that the Nets actually have.
Shout out to R.J. Hunter. Nets should try to get him. That would be interesting.
I like
for
R.J.
them.
Hunter. He can shoot.
Bulls just waived him. I don't know why, but...
R.J. Hunter should
Now-
be on an NBA team.
Now, here's the thing. If I could talk directly to Danny Ainge, trade for scoring help. Don't even worry at this point about a superstar. Try to get one in free agency. Maybe try to get Paul Millsap in free agency. I'd love to put him and Horford back together. I think that would work awesome.
Wow.
We'll focus
With
on Paul
Thomas?
Millsap. Hey, maybe a Gordon Hayward reunion with Brad Stevens. We don't know. Hey, it could be interesting.
What happens to Jay Crowder?
This season, Jay Crowder, I don't know. I like Jay
thought you
Crowder.
loved Jay.
I almost like Jay Crowder more than Gordon Hayward, but I don't know.
If
It's
you're looking
tough.
for instant help this year, do you think Rudy Gay at the 4 maybe?
No,
See what happens there?
absolutely not. No Rudy Gay on my team. Put Rudy Gay in the Thunder already, please. No
Yeah,
Rudy Gay.
Rudy
in the
Gay or
Celtics.
Kyle Korver on the Thunder
Just
makes a
get-
massive difference.
Just get a Will Barton. I think Will Barton is the second coming of Jamal Crawford.
Will Barton's lovely. I love him. He's
All right.
amazing.
Well, all right, we're gonna move on now. What is wrong with the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers? We're gonna start with the Knicks.
Well, since I'm the resident Knicks lover here, I think that I should start off this topic. Well, I was very displeased with something I heard the other day. Derrick Rose said, "Oh, I'm frustrated with the Knicks defense." P.S. Derrick, if you're so frustrated, maybe you should learn how to play defense because you've been nothing but a turnstile all year. You can swipe a Metro card through you. You've been such a turnstile. Derrick Rose has been invisible.
That's true.
He's been completely invisible. I was watching the Knicks versus Celtics on Christmas. Isaiah Thomas, I was watching Friends with Benefits on the other channel. I kept pressing the switch button to switch channels, and every time I switched back from that movie, Isaiah Thomas was shooting a free throw.
Yeah, Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose was terrible.
What Derrick Rose doesn't realize about
fuck are you
improving the Knicks
doing?
defense is that him and Carmelo Anthony are 1A and 1B for worst defender in their lineup.
This is
Courtney
all the
Lee-
more
Courtney Lee has
reason for
proved-
Brandon Jennings to start because he's a better defender than Rose.
Courtney Lee has proved in his career that he's a serviceable defender. Porzingis is their entire defense, and Robin Lopez is good.
Robin Lopez not on the Knicks anymore.
Oh wow,
You mean
Joakim
Noah?
Noah's
Yeah.
their starter. Wow, sorry. Joakim Noah at least is a good positional defender.
the thing with Noah is this. This is
That's why they
I
traded
will
him for
I will
Noah.
give my 5-step plan to what I want to see the Knicks do. Everybody keeps saying, play Porzingis at the 5, play Porzingis at the 5, and I don't honestly love this idea. I don't think this is an amazing idea, but give it a try. For 5 games, I want to see Porzingis start at the 5.
Move
And
Carmelo to the 4.
yep, because Carmelo's had a lot of his very best moments at the 4 when that one that massive 50-plus win games won season for the Knicks.
Where they beat the Celtics in the playoffs.
Yep.
I remember that all too well.
Carmelo was playing the 4, and he was playing it quite well, just overpowering his defenders with quickness. And I'd love to see Carmelo at the 4 again. That also opens up the problem, though. Who plays the 3? Because I don't want Mindaugas, Kuzminskis, or Lance Thomas starting at the 3 because they can play. They're good bench players.
The Knicks have done a pretty good job bringing in these unknown players to fill their bench, but their bench still sucks. Other than Brandon Jennings and what is his name? Kyle O'Quinn. Who do the Knicks really have on their bench?
Justin Holiday has been a pleasant surprise.
What about him in the starting lineup then?
Over Courtney Lee?
Maybe move Courtney Lee as a small 5? Excuse me, small 3?
I don't love that. Here's the thing. If Porzingis can play the 5, that makes Noah even more expendable.
He already is expendable.
But can it...
Expendable.
Yeah, that's quite true because the Knicks already have 2 other guys that can play the 5 in O'Quinn and Willie Hernan-Gomez, who's shown real flashes of potential and brilliance. Yeah. He has these. He's really still just trying to figure out how to learn to play basketball, but he's got a lot. There's something there.
So if you're the Knicks, because the Knicks, here's the thing: they have no draft picks.
No shit.
They basically are gonna. They're probably gonna throw a max contract to Derrick Rose this summer. It feels like that's inevitable at this point.
I'm shaking my head.
You right now you are Steve Mills.
Jennings over Rose.
Right now you are Steve Mills. Phil Jackson has said to you, go do whatever the hell you feel best is for this team. What do?
Well, Phil Jackson's mind is clouded because his fiancée just dumped him. But if I'm Steve Mills, I do not re-sign Derrick Rose. I give Brandon Jennings money because what does he do? He gets players involved. He and Porzingis are great. They're great together. He keeps setting Porzingis up for assists all over the court.
Brandon Jennings belongs in New York.
It's beautiful. We love him in New York, man. He's scrappy. He can really play defense. He's embraced his new role on the Knicks. I love what I've seen. That's it. Brandon Jennings is what the Knicks need, not Derrick Rose, who has...
What about Rondo?
If you weren't a little bit sick right now, I would take this basketball and throw it in your face.
What about Rondo?
Man, such a bitch asshole.
I guarantee. I will
Please,
put money.
No, I don't want...
I will put money that if they don't
re-
re-sign Derrick Rose, Rondo is coming to the Big Apple.
If Rondo gets signed with the Knicks, I'm not a Knicks fan anymore.
Really?
I resign. I will, as long as Phil Jackson is running this damn team. I resign from being a Knicks fan.
Phil Jackson.
I'm resigning from being a Knicks fan then. I'm going to become a full-time Nets fan. I'm a part-time Nets fan right now. I'm going to become a full-time Nets fan because, you know what? Sean Marks knows what the hell he's doing. Phil Jackson, you don't know what you're doing. You ran the triangle. Oh, great, you run the triangle. Because you had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on your team and Shaq and Kobe. Come on. Taking all the credit for that team. Guess what? You don't have the players for it this time. You can't just teach the triangle to anybody. You can't just do it. You don't know what you're doing as a GM. You don't know. It's obvious you don't know what you're doing. You gave Joakim Noah $72 million. $72 million. Have you watched him play this year? Joakim Noah he's not close to deserving that money. He's a bench player. He's a bench player who can provide rebounding, emotion, and is a pretty good positional defender, as you said. But he's not a starting center. Have you seen him play?
I have.
He's garbage.
Now, in my opinion, yes, has Phil Jackson done the best job? Not really.
He's picked Porzingis. That's it.
But he drafted Porzingis. I think that was a good move. Also kind of a no-brainer move. But I don't mind.
Not back then.
I think that his Derrick Rose trade, in my mind, gave him a little bit of leverage.
I like the trade.
Purely because...
It was a good trade.
It feels like, all right, maybe he doesn't have the best idea of how the team should play, but he has a good idea of how to get players. So I feel like as soon as he figures out how to get the right players, or which players fit his best play style. Because Jeff Hornacek...
Not Joakim Noah.
Jeff Hornacek, I feel like, knows what he's going to do.
I like Jeff Hornacek. He's a good coach.
I feel like Jeff Hornacek knows that Porzingis is the future of this team, but I think the Knicks' best move right now is trading Carmelo.
I disagree.
Carmelo's not. Did you watch that Celtics-Knicks game?
Yeah.
Who got the Knicks back into the game?
I'm not sure. That was like a week ago.
It was Porzingis. Do you know who then tried to take over the game?
Carmelo.
And do you know who could not take over the game?
Carmelo, because he fell down because Bradley stripped him.
Yes. Shout out to Avery Bradley, by the way.
He stripped him like he was at Magic City.
Stripped him like Ron Odom or Lamar Odom at a brothel. Man.
I was watching the most absurd thing. I was watching the E Network from some show the other day, and
You
Khloe
watch that
Kardashian.
shit?
E Network's not bad.
Oh, come on.
It's got some good.
Get out.
They've got some good movies.
And we're
French
going to conclude Blow
There's
the
some
Whistle
good
forever
movies on the
here,
E
dear.
Network, okay? I don't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians though, but there was some commercial. Khloe Kardashian's doing like some like weight loss show nowadays, and I saw some woman. She was like, "How many people can say they had their lives changed by a Kardashian?" Lamar Odom can say that.
Ray J.
Robert, what? Chris Humphries. Like Lamar Odom got positively screwed over. Lamar, people keep saying, "Oh, Khloe Kardashian isn't to blame for Lamar Odom." Lamar Odom was a borderline all-star when they got together, and he ended up in a crack house afterwards.
You know her and Tristan Thompson are still together?
I think they're still together.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They are?
I'm telling you that. Yeah.
Tristan's cute. You know, she's doing well. She's doing.
Yeah, but
he's better than
Tristan-
French Montana. He's better than French Montana. That's all that matters.
Huh.
French Montana and Iggy Azalea are together. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's completely perfect.
Come on, Swaggy. What are you doing?
He's smart that he broke up with her. All right.
He didn't break up with her. He didn't have a choice.
Well, somehow he got lucky, I guess, now that he's out of that. All right, let's... Next topic, what's wrong with the Indiana Pacers?
Now, that's a whole different story because... Now, neither of us are really Pacers fans, but I'm going to start off this topic because I feel very strongly about the fact that what is Larry Bird doing? Larry Bird, it feels like, replaces actually good people with people he thinks will be good but aren't. It just I don't get what goes through his mind. He let David West go.
Well, that was a good move. That was a good move.
I don't know. That was not a good move. David West
Look
is
where
still
he is
playing
now.
well.
He's kind of done.
Roy Hibbert, I get. Getting rid of Frank Vogel for Nate McMillan, though, I don't get that.
I also don't get getting rid of Lance Stevenson.
I don't get getting rid of Lance Stevenson because Lance Stevenson was best when he was on the Pacers. And the biggest thing that I don't get, you have a good point guard in George Hill, who is perfect because he's a good defender. He can shoot the three, and he works well within the Indiana Pacers scheme. And then he replaces him with Jeff Teague, who's a worse player than George Hill. I don't care that Jeff Teague has made an All-Star game and George Hill hasn't. George Hill is a better player than Jeff Teague.
George Hill's playing quite well this year on the
He
Jazz.
He is playing quite well.
But I will say, though, before this year, it wasn't that visible that George Hill was better than Jeff Teague.
It's visible to people who really understand the game. Jeff Teague gets lost on defense, and Jeff Teague gets a little bit whatever on offense if Jeff Teague doesn't have the ball. George Hill worked because George Hill knew what George Hill wanted to do.
He went to IUPUI. He had to work.
I don't personally get it. What his plan for the team is. I think he's doing a good thing now about building around Miles Turner and Paul George, but the players he's brought in around them, they just doesn't make sense. Monte doesn't make sense on this team. I like CJ Miles, granted.
You know who I really like though? Glenn Robinson.
Do you know who I don't like on this team? Thad Young.
Thad Young doesn't make sense anymore on this team.
Thad Young doesn't make sense in the modern day NBA.
He made sense like last year, but he doesn't anymore now.
I just don't get what they're trying to do. It's like they're trying to play... They sacrifice defense for this new improved offense, but their new improved offense sucks. They're playing at a faster pace, but they're scoring less points.
Yep.
I mean, I just don't get why... Like, what was happening that made Larry Bird, like, decide... I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get what their long-term plan is. They're not a defensive team. They're not an offensive team. They're just kind of there.
They're just blah right now. Like, actually, it doesn't make sense. I really liked the addition of Al Jefferson in the offseason.
So did I, but Al Jefferson's been terrible this year.
It's just, he's over the hill at this point, I think. I still like Joseph Young, actually. I really think he's going to be a good player.
Yeah.
They still have Rakeem Christmas, who I also like. Kevin Seraphin and Aaron Brooks are just kind of hanging around at this point.
Yep.
It's just a weird team.
It feels like this offseason is a huge offseason because it feels like if they don't make the playoffs this year, all the pressure's on Larry Bird.
They're not going to make the playoffs this year.
I agree. And then they got to trade Paul George because I don't know if Paul George wants to come back. Paul George is frustrated right now. He keeps saying that this is his hardest year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And that, remember, there's a year in the league where he didn't play because he was injured. So he's saying that playing for this Indiana Pacers team is worse than not playing at all? Woo! Damn!
He needs to check himself. He could be on the Sixers right now.
Eesh, that's true. Indiana Pacers, for me, their solution is you got to figure out what your strategy is. Are you a defensive team or are you an offensive team? With Paul George, I feel like you need to create a defensive team. You need to look at what the Memphis Grizzlies did and be like, we can do something better. And that's it.
But you have to think, though, that Paul George is in his prime right now. If the Pacers are a defensive team, does that get them out of the East?
Yes, the East sucks.
But do you think they could even get past like the Raptors or the Celtics?
I think that they can make
if they
the playoffs.
Become like a real big. Like,
I think they can make the playoffs
team?
and get to the second round. And honestly, for some teams, that's fine. Not every team can be Golden State. Not every team can be Cleveland.
Yeah. I suppose so.
But right now, they're in Washington Wizards territory. Now, granted, the Wizards are on a few game win streak right now, but the Wizards still suck.
The Wizards are garbage. You know that there's a good chance Otto Porter gets a max this offseason.
Yeah, and it's bullshit. I can't wait to see the sucker.
How did that happen?
I can't wait to see which sucker Sacramento Kings decides to give him a max contract.
This is gonna be the Kings or the Wizards.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Kings and then the Wizards matching. It's gonna be like the fucking Who's Dumber contest. All right, we're going to move on to a very fun topic here. We're going to pretend that the NBA All-Star break was tomorrow. Who is making the All-Star team? Your Eastern Conference starters. Let's start at point guard.
And first, at point guard, from the Boston Celtics,
Woo!
Isaiah Thomas. Then, at shooting guard.
Wait. Because I already disagree with you here.
What?
I love Isaiah Thomas as much as anyone, but I'm giving the starting spot to Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry
has been phenomenal this year.
Kyle Lowry's been great, but Isaiah's been greater.
Okay. Thomas has had. You know what? Should we just read the entire rosters or do position by position?
All right.
Let's
do the first. I'll tell you my roster first.
Just give your East starters right now.
We can argue on this.
Just give the East starters right now.
At shooting guard from the Toronto Raptors, DeMar DeRozan.
All right.
At small forward from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, LeBron, keep going.
LeBron James. At power forward from the Milwaukee Bucks.
All right.
The Greek Freak. And at center from the Miami Heat, Hassan Whiteside.
My lineup? All right. We have a few agreements here. Remember, the NBA got rid of centers on the ballot, so you can have 3 forwards. So that's what I decided to do. My lineup is Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, LeBron, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Paul George. We got a few little disagreements here, but nothing too severe. I still have Whiteside off my bench. I still have you put DeRozan?
Yep.
I still have DeRozan off my bench.
DeRozan's been a hell of a... He's been great this year.
All right, Eastern Conference bench.
Great.
Who do you have here?
All right. I got Jimmy Butler.
All right.
I've got Carmelo Anthony.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. I've got Paul George. I've got Avery Bradley.
Ooh, I love it.
I've got Kyle Lowry. And I have got Kristaps Porzingis. Just missed the cut. Kemba Walker.
Same. My lineup off the bench: Kyrie Irving, Isaiah Thomas, Hassan Whiteside, DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love, Kristaps Porzingis, and Avery Bradley. Honorable mentions here: Carmelo and Kemba.
Mm-hmm. Kemba, I've loved what Kemba's brought to the table this year.
Porzingis is better than Carmelo. He deserves to be the All-Star. The Knicks are not getting in 2 All-Stars.
I agree.
But I think the Celtics deserve to have 2 All-Stars. I put Bradley over Horford.
In retrospect, I put Kyrie over Carmelo.
You put Kyrie over Carmelo?
Yeah.
I like it. I think that this is a good year for the Cavs to have 3 All-Stars.
Yeah. I can't put Love as an All-Star.
You can't.
I can't. I put Bradley over Love. Just because Bradley's been so tremendous defensively and clutch, and Even though, like, I've never been a massive Avery Bradley supporter. I've always just thought he's just a good player.
Because
I know you're a fucking super fan, but like, Avery Bradley's just been a hell of a player this year.
18 points a game. He's leading all guards in rebounding, 8 a game. His defense has been on and off, but that's honestly because he's playing such a bigger role. You always have to figure that because he's a 6'2" guard, he usually has to guard 6'2" shooting guard next to a 5'9" point guard.
Yeah.
And he usually ends up matching up against small forwards.
Speaking of which, how tall is Marcus Smart again? I forgot.
6'4".
6'4". He looks like a giant compared to
Marcus Smart guards Porzingis when they play the Knicks.
I just want to say
and
something.
he bullies Porzingis.
Marcus Smart would bully anybody. I'm scared of Marcus Smart. Can I just say one thing though? Marcus Smart's hair, I'm loving it.
The new hair?
It's got the yellow dreads. I love it. I think it's dope.
Oh my god.
So much better than Jeremy Lin's Asian Snoop Dogg haircut earlier this year. Okay, on to the West.
All right, starters. I'll read my starters first here.
Right.
Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Marc Gasol.
All right. Russell Westbrook, Harden, Durant, Unibrow, Anthony Davis, and
Boogie! Now, I can't help but notice neither of us put Curry. Boogie! Neither of us put Curry. Why is this?
Because Curry's not an all-star.
You didn't make him a bench player?
I'm still deciding between Steph and
God,
Marc Gasol.
Come on.
I'm not sure.
Steph Curry's a bench player, but
I'll give him a bench player.
Steph Curry's a better player in my mind than James Harden.
But, I would agree with that.
But
this year,
if we're doing it based on how they're playing this year, yeah, Curry's taking a step back. He's next to Kevin Durant. He now has to share the ball with Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. And I take him off my bench, and I don't do that remorsefully.
I agree with that.
Durant has been the best player in the Warriors. Durant gets a starting spot in my mind. Same with Kawhi. I think Marc Gasol has been the best center in the league this year.
Have you seen Boogie's stats?
Yes, but have you seen...
He's 29-13.
Have you seen his team's record? Have you seen...
He's on the Kings. Look who he has around him.
Have you seen how bad he is on defense?
He's on the Kings. Look who's around him.
I don't care. Marc Gasol, they're the best defensive team in the league. He's anchoring it. He's my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, too.
He's on the Grizzlies. Boogie's on the Kings.
I don't care.
Who does Boogie get to pass the ball to?
I have DeMarcus off my bench. It's not like I don't have him at all. My bench is Curry, Thompson, Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and then my last spot, I don't even know if I can decide here. Gordon Hayward or Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know who I can decide there. Yeah, but Hayward's team is better.
Record doesn't mean everything.
In my mind, I could see them both making it and Chris Paul not making it. Or maybe even Lillard not making it, considering how bad his team has been. Yeah. But I think Lillard's an all-star.
Well, for my bench, I have Chef Curry, Kawhi, who has been outstanding this year. It kills me not to put him in the starting lineup.
I had to put him
because Kawhi has been defensively, Jesus.
I had to give him the advantage over Anthony Davis purely because his team is that much better.
But Anthony Davis is look how great he's been this year.
See, I always struggle with all-stars. I struggle with all-stars because I don't know. It's hard to decide whether a team record should have any impact.
It should have an impact, but Boogie and Davis their teams, out of all the guys that we picked, without a doubt, their teams have the worst records.
Neither of us put Draymond Green.
Yeah. I didn't finish my bench, though, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chef Curry, Kawhi, Lillard, Towns. I'll throw in CP3, Gordon Hayward, and then someone you didn't have. The Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert.
No.
Rudy Gobert has been fantastic. If I'm
struggling with Karl Anthony Towns here, then Rudy Gobert is not an all-star.
Rudy Gobert, I think he's an all-star. He's played great this year.
I don't know.
Boy, can he block shots.
He's had a good year. He's had a good year defensively, but they're still offensively.
Yeah, but I mean...
And honestly, offensively counts more in this league.
I suppose so, but it's... I see what you're saying though.
That's the reason why
Marcus Saul should be on the team instead of Rudy Gobert though. I do see that. It does make sense.
Now, here's another name that we both left off our Eastern Conference roster, Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker's had a crazy year. His team is 4th in the league.
Which should not be the case, but like, you know what?
Hey, Steve Clifford's a damn good coach.
It really hurts. It hurts my insides that a young man from the Bronx is not on my All-Star team. I wish he would be. I wish to God that Kemba Walker would make my team, but they're just better players than him.
I agree.
At the end of the day, like,
Kemba Walker
he's a hell of a player, but he's just not better than some of these guys.
He's taken a step back in the last few days and weeks, and it just feels like Thomas has severely outplayed him. Lowry's just a better player. Irving is a better player. I don't see how he can make the team, and that sucks because he really has deserved it this year. I just don't see it.
And actually, speaking of Kemba Walker, one more topic that we have that, you know what, I recently thought about, but where do the Charlotte Hornets go from here? They're in a really interesting position.
That's tough. I mean, their money is completely locked into Batum, Kid Gilchrist, and Kemba.
Do you really want your money to be locked into those guys?
And Marvin Williams.
Marvin Williams has been god-awful this year.
Yeah, which is funny because he had such a good year last year.
Weirdly enough, the Hornets they've been bad defensively with this lineup, but they've been great offensively when they've played Gilchrist and Williams at the 4 and the 5.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
A
very strange starting lineup, but it works. It works on paper at least.
To me, for the Hornets to take the next step and to go from this team to an elite team, they got to figure out what the hell is going on at their center position.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Hibbert, Frank Kaminsky, and Cody Zeller are like I don't.
Double with Cody Zeller.
I look at the 76ers. I see Jahlil Okafor. I think he could work out well.
That would be a great fit.
I think he would work out well. He'd give him a nice low post scorer.
Kemba and Jahlil would be woo. I like that.
I like that a lot actually, and their defense has been good. So the defense isn't an issue, especially when you have Batum and Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
You have no worries.
Exactly. Now. Their offense is going to get better. There's no way Batum, Williams, and Gilchrist can stay in the slump that they're in. Now, granted, Gilchrist has never been that good of an offensive player, to say the least.
Yeah.
But they just got to figure out what's going on in their center position.
Kaminsky is not going to be him.
Now, I want to take you back to the draft a few years ago. Danny Ainge calls up Michael Jordan. Hey, we see you have the 8th or 9th pick in the draft. We're gonna offer you our 2 picks from this year and 2 Brooklyn picks for that pick, and we're gonna take Justice Winslow with that. Michael Jordan says, "I'm good. I want Frank Kaminsky."
Oh, damn, Michael.
Oh, Michael.
Michael.
I'm not gonna
lie.
I'm happy about it, but
I was a bit racist, I guess, when I first saw Frank Kaminsky. I said, you know what, this is just going to be another Andre Bargnani. I was kind of wrong because
at least not Andre Bargnani had any success.
He can hit 3-pointers. Frank Kaminsky he's kind of been underwhelming from mid-range.
Kaminsky,
I would think he'd be such a better mid-range shooter than he is.
What's weird is when you come out of the draft late and you've had a few years, you're supposed to be a little bit farther ahead of the other players initially, and then they catch up. But
it's interesting, yeah.
It's weird.
He's kind of like the Buddy Hield of a few years ago. And Buddy Hield is actually playing well now.
Buddy Hield, in my mind,
under the radar, playing quite well for the Pelicans.
Look out for him.
I agree.
He's had a rough shooting year overall this year, but
he's heating up. He's getting a lot better.
Mark my words, Buddy Hield is going to be the second scorer that Anthony Davis needs next, or third next to Holiday and Anthony Davis. A lineup of Holiday, Anthony Davis, Buddy Hield. Figure out what the hell's going on at your center. Can we please get rid of Ajinça and Ashik already?
Do you want to play Anthony Davis maybe at the 5?
I would love that, but I don't know if he can do that consistently. It's a lot of wear and tear on your body. He's already a weak guy.
Yeah, the Pelicans need to
just
find out what's happening at center, because if they can
that's a problem for a lot of teams. They just find out what's going on at center.
Yeah, if the Pelicans can kind of figure out if they can keep Holiday.
Yeah.
in the offseason. I really like where the Pelicans stand because
Now here are two.
look how like maybe the Pelicans lineup could look next year. 1 through 4. Holiday, Lance Stevenson, who did play well before he got injured this year for the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Holiday, Stevenson, Heald, Davis. I kind of like it.
Now here are
In a
two names
weird
to
way.
look out for several contenders. Maybe the Clippers, maybe the Thunder, but especially in my mind the Pelicans, who really need this. Wilson Chandler and Danilo Gallinari.
I love Gallinari.
I
I've
mean-
loved him since
I mean,
the
they
Knicks.
don't- I mean,
I've
the-
loved him since the association on NBA TV.
The Nuggets have to get rid of one of them. Those are going to be two hot names around the NBA trade deadline. Why not the Pelicans?
Those two players have been like together their entire career.
They have both drafted by
It's
New York,
weird.
both traded.
Chandler's been the same player his entire career, essentially.
Chandler on the Clippers would be phenomenal.
Yeah. And the Clippers are... One interesting thing that I learned today. I forgot about this. Chris Paul is a free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah, but Chris Paul's not going anywhere, so is Blake Griffin.
That's a lot of money to be locked up in those two guys. Especially Blake Griffin, who's...
Do they have a choice?
I'm not...
They don't.
I'm really starting to think that this might be the time maybe to do a change of scenery for Blake Griffin.
I would
As
love,
good as he's been when he's healthy,
I would
he's been
love-
unhealthy for
I would
such a long
love
time.
Blake Griffin on Boston, obviously as a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
But the team that I would, as an NBA fan, who I would love him on, the Thunder.
Ooh,
He's from Oklahoma. That's his hometown. He'd be going back to his hometown team.
Blake and Adams.
Blake,
I like
Adams, Westbrook, Oladipo, maybe Rudy Gay. Can you imagine a more athletic starting
Ooh
lineup in
la
NBA
la.
history?
Now that's a... We need a new name, because that's not Lob City. That's like Lob Universe.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Where any single player can throw a lob to any single player, that is absurd.
Well, that's going to be the Bucks in like 3 years.
Yeah, it's true. 'Cause they're all, but 1 through 5, they're all the same height.
If Thon Maker can like find how to play basketball.
Yeah, and if they can finally figure out what the hell they're doing at like their point guard, Dellavedova's been fine.
Malcolm
but
Brogdon, kids finally having confidence in this guy.
Did you see him dunk? On
Oh,
LeBron?
yeah.
Goddamn.
We need to get like everyone who's dunked on LeBron on the same team. We need Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Crawford, and Richard Jefferson.
Oh God, Richard Jefferson, I love you.
Richard Jefferson, wow. It's been a journey, hasn't it?
Come full circle, one could say.
And one last question that I recently thought of. The Cavs have had serious problems as of late at their backup point guard position
Yeah,
due to the retirement
Easy
of
fix.
Mo Williams.
easy fix in my mind. Mario Chalmers.
I like that.
LeBron needs someone to scream at. Who better than Rio?
You know what? I'm going to one-up with you on this one. And this one might be a long shot because he's thinking about playing football. But, you know, one of my very favorite players
I love
in
it.
NBA history.
I love it.
From Seattle, Washington, Nate Robinson.
Oh God.
Nate Robinson. I love that.
Now here's another player that maybe they could trade for. They could probably get him for nothing. Jameer Nelson.
They could get him for nothing.
He's
He was a great backup point guard.
He's being wasted away in the Nuggets right now.
Yep. He was a hell of a backup.
Basically, they just need someone who's had any experience. I don't know. I feel like that's all they need. And then they are hands down the favorite. I mean, they already are, in my mind, the favorite, but to take the next level in favoritism, I guess.
I mean, the Cavaliers need to upgrade their bench
Yeah.
by playoff time. Birdman Anderson is gone for the year. Mike Dunleavy has been
Pretty bad.
abhorrent.
Yep.
DeAndre Liggins is DeAndre Liggins, and Jordan McRae is going to be good, but he's years away.
Shump.
Shumpman's not had a good year, but I still love him, and I still think he's amazing.
Channing Frye's been pretty good.
J.R. Smith's going to come back when it's warm weather.
Hey, you know what? If I'm the Cavs, I am not rushing him back at all.
Me neither. But the
Let him be
Cavs, in the
healthy.
meantime, they need to steadily upgrade their bench.
Yeah. Yeah, and at some point, Richard Jefferson is fun, but 98-year-old Richard Jefferson might not be the solution come finals time.
He's playing a lot.
He's playing a lot of minutes.
A lot. A few years ago, who did you think was going to be still relevant? Vince Carter or Richard Jefferson?
I feel like Vince Carter's
been...
game would have aged more gracefully, and it kind of has, but...
I didn't see this coming. I thought Vince Carter was going to be
but
just
if you
completely
had said,
gone a
but
few
if,
years
But if
ago.
you had said Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, or Richard Jefferson, I would have said Pierce in a heartbeat, and that has not happened.
Pierce is just...
He's fallen off.
He's gone downhill quickly.
Hey, you know what? I'm excited because now when the Clippers come to Boston, we get to give him one more standing ovation. We can retire his number and Garnett's next season, make him on like back-to-back nights.
I'd love to see Pierce back on the Celtics somehow.
Well, the Celtics, Doc already said that as soon as Pierce was announced his retirement, and he started to say this is last year, they have a trade set that where it's going to send Paul Pierce back to Boston so he can retire as a Celtic, or he's going to sign a one-day contract, which I like.
I mean, it's
Doc Rivers has already said yes, he's on the Clippers right now, but the Celtics are his team.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's.
I'm surprised he didn't come there in free agency a few years ago.
In the words of Fabulous, she's been playing with the green long as Paul Pierce.
All right, we're gonna wrap up there. Episode 2 of Blow the Whistle is in the books. We got a few more episodes coming up. We got some NBA power rankings. We got some NFL talk.
You know what it is.
We got plenty of stuff still coming here.
Make sure to follow me on Instagram at TripGuapo. Follow him on Instagram at
Will_Robbins21. But sure, okay. I wasn't gonna promote that.
Why not, man?
All right,
already in this position.
Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys later.
Later.